Um, Hi, everyone. Hope you enjoy reading the papers. And I think two of them are pretty straightforward, except the one is really complicated for me. Um, so let's go from the first one. Urban Space Explorer. This paper wanted to solve one assumed question, which is the historical geographical data like census data most people use is hard to visualize. And it's not effective to perform spatial temporal analytics on them. So this paper want to use their interactive visual analytic system, which is called Urban Space Explorer, to achieve the objective of helping planning professionals investigate the interaction of human activities and the urban space by using social media data. So this paper includes 4 parts. The first one, they did a survey. Then they did a comparison of the twist densities and the points of interest in the urban space. Third one is the build a framework of estimating human activity flows and from the tweets locations and content, which is called tweets geolocated. And the fourth one is the develop an interactive visual analytic systems to present to professionals for evaluations. The first part is a survey. I've looked at this, the survey they have done. Most of the professionals are spatial-related workers, but only few of them have used the social media data. And the other things is the survey they did show the frequencies of participants' works and data they use and the analyze tools they use. Their interest, they also get interest from the survey, like the participants, the professionals' interest from the survey. But those interests can overlap, like urban planners are interested in the land use, but they can also be interested in the transportation design. So that's why those percentage will not accumulate to 1. And but they can still get information from it, like what is the most interested part for them. One thing to be noticed: only 86% of the participants have never used the social media data. Then they did a correlation analysis, which is a Spearman's rank correlation, to test whether tweets can reflect human activities. This correlation analysis is a monotonic correlation test method. Basically, test whether the variable A, if variable A increases with the or decreases with the variable B increases. In this table, we can get the idea that the high correlation means when number of tweets increase, there is more likely a POI, which is the point of interest, occurs, but not necessarily more people will gather there. Then they come to the tweets geolocation. Tweets location serve to analyze density of the tweet points, in this urban space. With the characteristics that tweets are geolocated, this paper first derived the tweet density to get human activity density, which is the first row up here. And then they use they model the flow of people within the urban space by following the urban straight lines, which is the spatial data, and by using a shortest path algorithm to get the shortest route from point to point, which is the 2 times users tweets their post tweets, which is the second row of this chart. And the user info is also input to get the distance they traveled or how they traveled, and where are the hotspots of the user's activities can also be derived based on the travel distance and the time. Finally, they use the tweet's text body to get the content analysis. What they did, they used the latent dirichlet allocation method to characterize tweets into 50 activities types and show the activity type at a place with maximum probability. They also related the activity with different group of people by using the language as a proxy. I tried to find the website they have. I mean, this is the Explorer system they have, but it seems it's no longer available online. So what I'm presenting here is from the video. When you zoom in or zoom out at the region here, you get the hotspots from the tweets density, which is the human activities hotspots. And when you move to another region, the word clouds here will change accordingly from the region you zoomed in. And also you can select a specific time from here to get the tweets numbers, tweets activity numbers from here, and also the word clouds will also change accordingly. The right panel is the population flows, and the lower right is the different group of people I mentioned before, which is the people speaking Chinese or American English or Spanish. This paper, the most impressive part of this paper to me is they managed to simulate the population flow from the tweets social media data. Even if you select a subregion here, like a rectangle area, you will see the in and out population flow and through the time here. Yeah, you can see the time in the background here from the morning to the end, to the end of the day. So that's how their system works, but unfortunately we cannot play around with it. So the take-home message for this one is to handle social media accounts carefully, because it seems that they can easily track your traffic routes, daily activities. Then we come to the second paper, is how to assess a good continuous color maps. So this paper collected and summarized the rules of making good color maps from previous literatures. And they tried to quantify several of those key attributes, like the order and discriminative power, and also uniformity, and use them as a valuation standard or framework to assess if a continuous color map is good or bad. They want to make a framework to let the ubiquitous comparison of color maps qualities become possible. There are many definitions in this paper, and it's really hard to read, I know. When I first first time I saw this paper, I thought the color maps it's like this, but actually it's not. Those color maps are the maps they're talking in this paper. So they're trying to what they've done is they're trying to quantify the quality represented in the left part by using mathematical rules on the right part. They mainly described three key attributes: the order, discriminant power, and the uniformity. So first, what is the color space? The CIE color model is the color space model created by the International Commission on Illumination, known as the CIE. So what they did is they created this color space, and they want to map out all the colors that can be perceived by the human eyes. And this paper also compared other color maps to this one, like the Adobe RGB. Different color space will present different parts of this color space. And what is a color map? A color map is actually a line or arc or any straight line or arc in this color space. Like this one is a color map. A color map is a curve in the specific color space. More official expression of color map is a function that maps physical values by color space values with a rule to interpolate intermediate values. So to me, the color maps are the, I call it color bars when I make plots. So this paper refers local as the relationships of the neighbor colors, like purple is neighbor to blue, or more in the more detailed blue. In the blue color, there are cyans, light blue, and deeper blue. So local means the relationships of neighbor colors, and the global is the colors, describe the colors of entire maps. And the distance here is presented as the luminance on the map. We can see the figures on the next slide. And it measures how different two colors are. And the higher luminance represent greater distance, like the lower maps here. You can see the distance from here to here. Here the luminance is higher, which means the distance is greater. The upper rows here shows the speed of corresponding maps. Speed doesn't have a physical meaning here. I consider it as a color radiant change rate, like how fast from the dark to the bright, or how fast from one color change to another one. And the discriminative power here tells us how well the color are distributed over the class color space according to the data we put in. In other words, the discriminative power will tell us, is it easy for us to discriminate different values from the map? This paper used the average global speed as an indicator of discriminative power. So rainbow map here has the greatest average speed, so it has the most discriminative power, which makes sense because when we see the rainbow map here, we can easily tell there are more colors than the black and white color map here. And the second key attribute they try to quantify is the uniformity, which is the space among colors if the space among colors are equally distributed. Another paper mentioned uniformity as the color used should convey the distance between the values that they are presenting, which means the distance in color should be equal to the distance in perception. And this 3 plots shows the plot A shows both the local and the global uniformity. We can see the distance between these 2 points and these 2 points is equal to the average of the global distance. Global speed. But these two have the same distance, but the distance between these 2 points are shorter than longer than these two. So this plot shows a local but not global uniformity. This one shows neither global or local uniformity. And these two plots shows the and another explanation of the discriminative power and uniformity. We can see with 100 discriminative power, the upper one is easier to discriminate from bright to dark than the lower one here with less discriminative power. And this one on the right, top right, has both local and global uniformity. And the lower right has neither local or global uniformity. So we can see the blue colors here. What the uniformity tells us if the colors are equally distributed over the distance. We can see there are more blue colors here, but less cyan, but more green and more red and less yellow. So this one is not a uniformity color maps. The third attribute is the order. The order means if any one of us look at a selected set of colors from the color map, we will sort them in the same way. Then we call them color maps satisfy order. The order has 2 parts. This paper illustrates 2 parts of the order, the legend-based and intuitive order. Legend-based order indicates if colors can be inverted but with the same perceptions results, which means when we see a legend, we can invert 2 colors on the legend, but the results will stay the same. But with the intuitive order, users can easily sort 3 consecutive colors in an intuitive way. This paper tried to quantify intuitive order with these triangle size differences. It's hard to understand, but the minimum of this distance is greater than 0. We can say this color map is sufficient order. From these two parts, from these two plots, we can see the upper one is an older color map, but the lower one is not, because the distance, this minimum triangle distance is smaller than 0. The take-home message for this paper is that good color map has a great discriminative power, global and local uniform, and its global intuitive order. The other 3 key attributes has not been quantified in this paper. It's in the future work. Then come to the charticulator. The author of this paper gave us a detailed handbook of the charticulator. It's an interactive construction of the chart layout. This is the one figure I made from this tool, which is the county growth of the North Carolina until the 2016. Different colors here means the net migration. We can see Wake County has the the different length of the bar here means the different percentage of their population growth. And different colors here shows the different net migration. We can see Wake County has a really large portion of the income net migration. And it also has a really large percent of the population growth. And this inner circle indicates the 0 population change.
What we need is to get some IT bases that in the class every day.
So the inner circle here is the 0% growth, and those bars growth to the inner circle means they have negative population growth. This tool has 3 design principles, and this tool is designed especially for the non-programmers. It has deliberate design choice. Users can customize the layout of the output charts, and it breaks the layout of the charts into the composable parts to be more flexible, and it enables chart authors to directly manipulate layout parameters such as anchors, margins, and gaps. There are not too many methods I need to explain in this paper because the author mainly just described how this tool works. So when I try to play around with this tool, it has this tool can only accept CSV files, which is really common file type. And the left panel here are the elements mentioned in the paper you can put into the right part of the chart. And the marks here only has rectangular, triangle, or circle. which means you can use, which is the shape I used here. Those are the rectangles. And there are two levels here, which is the glyph and the chart level. You can add as many as glyph you want to this chart, and also as many as features to the chart level here. They can overlap, and you can customize it with different rank, colors, and symbols. And it's easy to add legend to this map, because every element you added, you can select a color map for it to add a legend. Those are the figures generated with this tool. And one thing I want to mention in this paper is how it handled the different constraints at multiple levels. Because it has too many different elements and different level of the chart, different parts of the chart. So Charticulator generates constraints at multiple levels to specify how to plot segments, legends, and chart level marks. And once you generate the templates for the Charticulator and they're reusable, you can reuse it for different data. And at the final part of this paper, the workshop was introduced to as a user's evaluation. The contributions of this paper is it offers us an interactive data visualization tool with a similar shelf configuration as Tableau, which means you can drag every variables you wanted to the chart, and it will present to you in 2 or 3 seconds based on how big your data is. And visual building interactions to enable multiple levels layout specification without programming skills needed. And I wanted to show a demo of this tool, but I'm not able to get the data.
You have about 2 minutes left.
Okay. I think that's it.
Do you want to pause the recording? Little microphone icon on the screen, on the bottom on the right. Yeah.